Avatar, The Last Airbender, the latest set for Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond. We have ourselves today a Play Booster Box. This is our first Play Booster Box and our first video for the sets. Happy to have you along with us. If you're new to Magic the Gathering and are just a fan of Avatar, this is the video to watch. We're going to have a few openings, but we're going to be going over the new set mechanics, giving you a little bit more of a deep dive into any of the questions that you might have, giving some answers. But if you're here as a longtime Magic fan already, feel free to still stick around and see what great cards we're opening, because we're going to have some fantastic new cards entering the pool for play in both Standard, Legacy, not Legacy, Modern, all your fantastic little formats. Stick around with us. I'm a big Commander player myself. I'll be given mostly the insight from the perspective of a Commander player, but that does not mean that you won't get some good insights into any other formats as well. We have ourselves some Wall Top Sentries as our first foil. Also, I will note that we do have a full art basic land, our planes here with Momo on there. And I did see what looks like, ooh, another little Momo itself. Momo, Friendly Flyer. We have Lemur Bat Ally, 1 mana, flying 1/1. The first non-lemur creature spell with flying you cast during each of your turns costs 1 less to cast, and whenever another creature you control with flying enters, Momo gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So we do have the full art treatments available in the Play Booster boxes, not just your collector boosters. So that's always great to see. That's a great hit for pack 1. And like I said, we are going to go over some of the mechanics here. So Earthbend X on this Rockalanche. We do have lessons returning. So lessons are a thing that you can access from your sideboard in a number of formats. Commander not included because we don't have sideboards. But lessons can be fetched with cards that care about lessons. And then also Earthbend X. Earthbend is a target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land. Put X +1/+1 counters on it. When it dies or is exiled, returns to the battlefield tapped. So it's Earthbend X. You're going to put X +1/+1 counters, where X is the number of forests you control. This also has flashback. So you have 5 forests out already, and you cast a spell. You're going to get a land that you control turned into a 0/0 creature that has 5 +1/+1 counters put on it. And yeah, pretty fantastic. When it dies, it returns to the battlefield tapped as well, so your creature land doesn't necessarily go entirely away as a land when the creature dies. Fantastic. And then, of course, flashback, of course, a returning mechanic as well, where you can cast a spell from your graveyard for the flashback cost. Very nice. Hey, bye. Spirit of Balance. Very cool. From, I believe, Season 1. I did a little bit of rewatching myself since it's been a few years since I've seen Avatar. But, I mean, it's been a fantastic time to rediscover the show, and just in time for this set to be released. We got Sokka's Haiku. You can counter target spell for 5 mana, which is a high cost, but then you draw a card and mill 3 and untap a land. So 4 mana and some card draw. Still not the best rate for a number of different formats, but hey, nonetheless, pretty fantastic card. Sold Out. Lost Days, another lesson. Rabaru Troop with a bunch of cabbages. Lovely. Origin of Metal Bending with Toph. Nice. Boomy Bash. Kyoshi Battle Fan. Man, after watching a little bit of the show these past few days, it's lovely seeing these cards. Kind of just bring it all flavor-wise into the fold, and man, it's a great show, and honestly, lore-wise, this set looks far better than a lot of the Universes Beyond sets that we've had so far. Definitely a more premier set. Even though Magic wouldn't consider this, I think, a premier set. This is just a standard set. But either way, they put a lot of time and effort into it, and it definitely shows. And now we also have one of the alternate chances. Instead of having the Momo land, this time we have the Appa land. Which, man, I gotta say, both of these are fantastic. This Plains definitely wins for me. Appa Soren, just above the fields. Outstanding. Wandering Musicians for our foil card. And our rare for this pack, our first rare, because it is possible to get more than one, is Realm of Ko. The land enters tapped unless you control a basic land. Not a high cost, so that's fantastic as well. Tap to add a black right away. 3 and a black and a tap will get you a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token with this token can't block or be blocked by non-spirit creatures. There's a few of these rare lands in each of the colors. I believe there's one per color. And I think this is one of the slightly weaker ones. There's card draw on one of them, I believe either the white or blue. But nonetheless, very nice. We also have Gran. Absolutely fantastic. We do love to see that. I know people have been building this as a commander for sure. Whenever it becomes tapped, you loot, draw, and discard. Non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast as long as there are 3 or more lessons in your graveyard. So Gran can teach you a lesson if you build around lessons. And yeah, very awesome, very awesome flavor there. We got the Pinnacle Boy, Aang, the Last Airbender. Flying, 4 mana, 3/2. Enters the battlefield, airbend up to 1 other target non-land permanent. And now, airbending. Of course, one of our 4 bending keywords here. Airbending is exile it. It being the target non-land permanent that you're choosing. So exile it. When it's exiled, its owner may cast it, or while it's exiled, its owner may cast it for 2 rather than paying its mana cost. So just 2 generic. So even if it's Omniscience that you're airbending away, you just pay 2 mana to recast it from exile. And then, of course, whenever you cast a lesson, Aang gains lifelink until end of turn. But yeah, recasting with Airbend to get your either new cast triggers or new ETBs again, and the battlefield triggers. Very, very strong little keyword there in Airbending. We have ourselves a Cat Gator, Dragonfly Swarm, Curious Farm Animals, Compassionate Healer, Lovely Art, Messenger Hawk, Turtle Duck. Absolutely so cute. And a Lightning Strike with Azula in the arts. Sweet. So it's been years for me since I'd seen the show, and I haven't even fully watched every season in this rewatch, so there'll be some things that I don't quite remember. But nonetheless, we have our Kyoshi Warriors in the ally art. Foggy Bottom Swamp. Enters tapped. Deserter's Disciple as our foil. And we have Aang, Swift Savior. 1 white and a blue for a flash flying. 2/3. 1 ETBs. Airbend up to 1 other target creature or spell, which is interesting. You can airbend a spell on the stack. And he also has waterbending on him. Interesting. So, of course, you can exile, recast for 2, or its owner may recast for 2. And then Waterbend 8 will have you transform Aang. And let's see what Aang transforms into. And it's Aang and La, Ocean's Fury. Legendary creature, Avatar Spirit Ally, and it's a 5/5. Reach, Trample. Whenever this attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control. So as long as you don't have Vigilance, you can get a bunch of +1/+1 spread across all your creatures and buff up the whole team. Very nice. We have ourselves an Epic Downfall. Exile target creature with mana value 3 or greater. Very nice little removal spell for black at an uncommon. We have Team Avatar with the whole crew here. Toph included. Very nice. Allies at last. Affinity for allies, of course, costs 1 less for each ally you control. Ooh, Meteor Sword. As a Magic fan that kind of just loves the Meteor Golems and the fun little strong effects, even though they're high costs. It's 7 mana to get Meteor Golem's effect, but on equipment here. So when it enters, destroy target permanent. Equipped creature gets +3/+3/+3, and it's equipped 3. Awesome. We have Yip Yip, a lesson. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's an ally, it also gains flying. Airbending lesson as well. Another lesson. Airbend a non-land permanent and draw a card. Pirate Peddlers. Waterbending lesson. Lots of lessons in this pack. Rumble Arena. Of course, a land with Vigilance. It's not a creature right now. That's when Vigilance would actually be useful. But, of course, with Earthbending, being able to make lands into creatures, this is a fun little land if you're going to be running Earthbending in any either constructed or limited formats. If you're at pre-release, such as a pre-release at Jaff Comics in Bethlehem, maybe think about Earthbending this this land and getting some fun effects out of it. Very cool. We'll keep our rares a little bit more separated. A food token, an island that's not full art. So of course we had a dual land last time. Of course, a tapped dual land. But here we have just a regular basic island in standard art. Accumulate Wisdom. Very nice from Washi Tong. We've got Tough, Hard-Headed Teacher. When it enters, you may discard a card. If you do, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. When you cast a spell, Earthbend 1. Wow. Whenever you cast any spell, you're Earthbending 1. If that spell was a lesson, put an additional +1/+1 counter on that land. So notably, target land you control becomes a creature. If it's already been Earthbended before, you can still Earthbend the same land again to put an additional +1/+1 counter on this. Or, of course, you can animate a new land as a creature. So this is definitely one of the cards that I can see being played as a commander, for sure. Just because it's got some nice synergy there. Professor Zay, Anthropologist. Fatal Fissure. Let's see, I think we haven't got Firebending yet, but we've seen... Have we seen Waterbending? I don't think we've seen... I guess we've seen Waterbending on Ang from one of the previous packs, but we'll actually dive more into what Waterbending is, because before it just said Waterbend 8 and Transform Ang on the other one, but without the reminder text. So, of course, Waterbending is a cost that is generic mana, but... Specifically, while paying a waterbend cost, you can tap artifacts you control and your creatures that you control to help. Each one pays for 1. So it's a high cost, but you can either tap your treasures without sacrificing them, or say just tapping any artifacts or creatures that you aren't either going to use otherwise or aren't going to attack with, and help pay for a cost. So very nice little mechanic here. And of course, we'll see Firebending in a bit, but yeah, it's a lot of mechanics here. So if you're getting into Magic, it can definitely seem a little bit overwhelming when you have stuff like Aang's Journey, which has Kicker. It's a lesson. You're searching your library, and then if it was kicked, you're searching for also a Shrine card. It's a lot of things to keep track of, but if you take your time with it, even as a new player, it's definitely a rewarding game to get into. And if you are a new player that's getting into Magic because of Avatar, feel free to stop into Draft Comics in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, or any local game store if you're not located in the Lehigh Valley, of course, and see if there's someone there to be able to teach you how to play. I know Jaff does have a number of resources, a number of players that are in the community that would be more than willing to help you learn, as well as some of the employees, of course, of the store as well. That would love to see you join the lovely community for Magic the Gathering. And of course, we have our rare for this pack is a Tiger Seal, a 1-mana 3/3 with Vigilance. Pretty strong. Beginning of your upkeep, you tap the creature though, so it does have downside, of course. And then whenever you draw your second spell each turn, untap this creature. So it has a downside, but you have ways to mitigate it. Very fun. Destined Confrontation between Zula and Zuko. Nice. Boomerang Basics, another lesson. Solstice Revelations. Haru. A little Earthbending. Razor Rings. Beetle-Headed Merchants. Watery Grasp. Aang's Journey. Badger Mole. Firebending Lesson. Barrels of Blasting Jelly. Nice. I'm going to do us a little bit of a favor, and that should help with focus just a tiny bit. Got the camera lens looking too good. Just making it a little hard to see with such shallow focus, so it should be better now. We have ourselves a copy token, a foil land, and Sokka's Haiku as another foil, so you can get multiple foils per pack if one's a land. And of course, Elemental Teachings, a rare lesson for 5 mana. Search your library for up to 4 land cards with different names to reveal them. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards, put the chosen cards in the graveyard, and the rest onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So you can get 2 lands out for 5 mana. Not an incredible rate, but not too bad, and considering it's also a lesson, so it's fetchable in a number of formats. Not bad at all. We, of course, though, have Zhao, Ruthless Admiral. And, of course, our first appearance of Firebending, this time Firebending 2. So Firebending is whenever this creature attacks, add the number of Firebending, so in this case 2 red mana. But this mana does only last until end of combat. So if you can do things at instant speed, of course, feel free to use that mana on spells, abilities. I know there's quite a few that have Firebending that also will have a activated ability that you can dump the mana into, so make sure to look out for that. But of course, you can use it for anything, but only until end of combat. But a very fun mechanic, helps you ramp. Very, very nice. Master Paku. Of course, Prowess. Whenever he becomes tapped, target player mills X, where X is the number of lessons in your grave. Invasion Tactics. Tiger Dio. Yip Yip. Pirate Peddlers. First Time Flyer. Path to Redemption. Turtle Duck once again. Ooh, and I can see ourselves a... Oh, I thought it was going to be another full art land, but it's a full art ally. Very nice, though. The art in the set is absolutely fantastic. We got ourselves a swamp. A Razor Rings. And Katara, Water Tribe's Hope. 5 mana 3/3 with Vigilance. When Katara enters, create a 1/1 ally. And you can Waterbend X. Creatures you control have base power and toughness X until end of turn. X can't be 0. Activate only during your turn. So kind of a, I forget the card's name. Mirror Entity type effect in white. But it's a waterbending cost instead to make your creatures however big. Pretty nice though. Size makes sense. A lesson to look at the top X cards of your library. Where X is the number of lands you control, you can reveal a creature or land from among them to your hand, rest in the bottom. Nice. At only 1 mana, that's probably pretty playable. Ruinous Waterbending. Crashing Wave, Vengeful Villagers, Merchant of Many Hats, of course. Waterbending Lesson, Firebending Lesson. Oh, and a Badger Mole. Nice. It's not Badger Mole Cub. I know that's one of the bigger hits of the set, but that is a mythic rare. So, got a little excited for a second. Ooh, we do have something a little interesting in this pack. We'll see what that is. We have a lovely little plains here with the city underneath. Azula Always Lies as our foil, and Waterbender Ascension. Ooh, it's a rare enchantment for 2 mana. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a quest counter on this enchantment. Then, if it has 4 or more quest counters on it, draw a card. And you can waterbend 4 to have target creature unblockable until end of turn. That's honestly a pretty nice effect. Kind of Bident of Thassa-esque, but instead of being 4 mana, this is 2. But it just requires quest counters. So you could get this to give you card draw the same turn that you cast it. Honestly, a pretty solid card. Definitely considering putting this in a number of minded decks. And this art's a little weird looking, but it is part of a collage of cards, or like a scene of cards that all combine together. But a little bit abstract. Not too bad, though. But fantastic card nonetheless. Oh, and we also have ourselves another rare of this pack. Aang's Iceberg, of course, from episode 1 of season 1. 3 mana. Flash enchantment. When the enchantment enters, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. And you can waterbend for 3, sack it, and draw. And sorry, not draw 2, scry 2. Be a little strong if it was scry. If it was draw. Otter Penguin. Yes. As a fan of otters, yes. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, this creature gets +1/+2 and can be blocked. Giant Koi as well. Man, that's some sick art. Honestly, both of these, is the same artist? No. But like the colors of the sky, the ice, the water, man, they did some great work with the art in this set. Like firebending lesson, I mean, the art is incredible. Not that it's not incredible for most sets, but the world of Avatar is very well fleshed out with incredible art to pull from, even just for inspiration. So it is lovely to see what they have come up with. Here we have our rare Suki, Courageous Rescuer. Other creatures you control get +1/+0, so a little bit of an anthem effect. And whenever another permanent you control leaves the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1 ally. It only triggers once each turn. Of course, they had to put the only once each turn. Could have been a little strong otherwise, but you know what? I would have liked it if it was a little stronger. Of course, Energy Bending, Zuko's Exile, the Kyoshi Warriors. We've gone through most of the mechanics by now, so we'll start picking it up a bit and not go over every card, but we'll see what we can get. Of course, Momo Friendly Flyer, our first rare that we got earlier in its regular art form. And another Momo, Momo Playful Pets, also 1 mana 1/1, Flying Vigilance, leaves the battlefield, choose 1. You can either get a food, put a +1/+1, or scry 2. Pretty strong for an uncommon. True Ancestry, Octopus Form. Nice. Ooh, another Appa Land. This time the full art Swamp. Very nice. Ooh, and a foil Giant Koi. That looks incredible in person. Camera's picking it up a bit, but those colors just pop. Ooh, and the watermark underneath too. Yes, please. We have the Earth King. Aw, with Bosco. How cute. When he enters, create a 4/4 bear, and whenever one or more creatures with power 4 or greater attack under your control, search your library for that many basic lands, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Gotta love it. Nice little commander that you can make. Oh, and of course our Avatar enthusiasts as well, foaming at the mouth. That Earth King is an interesting card for sure. There's so many decks that I want to build, and that is one of them, but it's just a question of how many decks do I build? And it can't be all of them. Zuko, Conflicted, our next rare. At the beginning of your first main phase, choose one that hasn't been chosen and you lose 2 life. Draw a card, put a +1/+1, add a red, or exile him, and return him to the battlefield under an opponent's control. Very conflicted, but very nice. And another Tiger Seal, 2 rares in this pack. Tolls of War, Boomerang Basics, Earth Rumble, Cat Owl, the Enthusiasts again, Callous Inspector, and the Lightning Strike. Food, Forest, Path to Redemption, and Avatar Destiny. 4 mana, Aura. Enchant creature you control. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard and is an avatar in addition to its other types. When enchanted creature dies, mill cards equal to its power. Return this card to its owner's hand and up to 1 creature card mill this way to the battlefield under your control. Okay, not bad. Bringing it to the battlefield is pretty nice. For 4 mana. The Boulder, ready to rumble. When the Boulder attacks, Earthbend X, where X is the number of creatures you control 4 or greater power. Nice. Long Fang. Whoop. Long Fang Grand Secretariat. Yep. It'll quench you. Rumble Arena and Rocky Rebuke. They love the alliteration with the names for sure. They do definitely lean into that over at Wizards of the Coast. We got Toph, the first Metal Bender. I know a lot of decks are going to be built for this in Commander at the very least. I know looking at EDH Rec, it is one of the top commanders that's being built. Of course, non-token artifacts you control are land in addition to their other types. They don't gain the ability to tap for mana though, but you can earthbend them at your end step to create or to turn them into creatures. So even your treasures are just lands, and of course if you have something like a Yavimaya or an Urborg, of course you're in green here. So Yavimaya is probably the more useful of the two. You can have them tap for mana, but it's just a little harder because you do need another piece. But nonetheless, fantastic little card. Toph. Leaves from the Vine. White Lotus Hideout. Still hitting new cards, of course, even in the commons. How to Start a Riot. And Toph is probably not like a huge hit, but looking at it, pre-release pricing is, you know, over $10. Of course, we have a token card here, useful for double face cards when you're not playing with sleeves. Kyoshi Village, Cat Gator, and Great Divide Guide. Each land and ally you control has tap to add 1 mana of any color. And of course, this is an ally itself, so this is a 2 mana creature that can tap for mana itself, but also gives land fixing and allies being able to tap for mana as well is pretty solid. About halfway through this box here. Hope you guys are enjoying. Of course, this is for Jaff Comics in in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, as I stumble over my words looking at this incredible Appa land in foil. Holy, just absolutely breathtaking. Just like the folks at Jeff Comics are breathtaking. Ooh, and Redirect Lightning is also a fantastic little hit here. Your deflecting spots and stuff, and even stuff like CDH, where it's a very competitive format. This being 1 mana, which you can then pay either an additional 5 life or 2 mana to casts. Pretty strong to be able to deflect an ability or spell with a single target. Very nice. But as I was saying, the folks over at Jeff Comics, of course, play Commander weekly, and a bunch of other Magic formats are also supported with a nice little community over there. So if you're interested in playing, definitely check out your local game store, whether that is Jeff Comics or something else if you live elsewhere in the big wide world. Ooh, and we have a Fire Lord Zuko, 3 mana 2/4 with Firebending X, where X is Fire Lord Zuko's power. And whenever you cast a spell from exile, and whenever a permanent you control enters from exile. Oh, and whenever a permanent. So you could get 2 off of just casting a single spell. Interesting. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Very strong little card here. Absolutely. Thought about building Zuko as a commander, and we'll see. Ooh, Combustion Technique in the full art. Deals damage equal to 2 plus the number of lesson cards in your graveyard to target creature. If the creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Very, very nice art. Kyoshi Island Plaza. But yeah, definitely support your local game stores. Jeff Comics is a fantastic one if you're looking for single cards, whether it's from Avatar or other sets for Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Lorcana, or a number of other TCGs that we have in stock. Feel free to check us out. JeffComics.com or JeffComics.tcgplayerpro.com, specifically for the single cards. Ooh, we got like the whole team here in this pack. A Foil Toph and Aang. We have Aang Swift Savior, which I believe is the same one that we saw earlier. Yes, with Aang and La on the backside. And an Appa. Fun little pack. But yeah, check out the links in the description below here on YouTube to find those easily, whether you want to get some sealed product for, of course, any of those TCGs that I listed before. Avatar, The Last Airbenders set for Magic the Gathering, or anything you can think of. If we have it, if we don't have it, see if we can get it ordered for you, as well as Secret Tunnel, any sleeves, playmats, things that you could use along with your TCGs to help you have a better time. Lots of those in stock with a very knowledgeable staff that's there to help you. So check out Jeff Comics in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Ooh, and we got that mountain again with Appa. Lovely. Judy. Ooh, okay, so we have our first saga that's dual-faced. And of course, it's a mythic. The Legend of Roku. Sounds like my television. It's 4 mana. Exile the top 3 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You can play those cards. Chapter 2. Add 1 mana of any color. And then, of course, as is the format for these, Chapter 3 is exile this saga and return it to the battlefield as Avatar Roku. Firebending 4. And you can pay 8 mana to create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying and firebending 4. That's a really strong effect. How much is this on the front side? 4 mana? Whew. I'm going to have to add this to a deck for sure. Legend of Roku will go right in my Agatha deck, reducing that cost on the back from 8 to make a 4/4 to hopefully 1 mana to make a 4/4. That will generate me 4 mana. Honestly seems incredible. Of course, that's not the easiest thing to do. You have to get to Chapter 3 to begin with to have it exile. But once you get that done, pretty good effects. Ooh, another mythic back-to-back. Sozin's Comet. 5 mana. Each creature you control gains firebending 5 until end of turn. Holy. So if you attack with, like, say, 3 creatures, you're getting your mana back and then some. Surely if you have 2 creatures maybe that are going to attack. Man, this is a strong effect if you have a number of creatures out in the field. Even at 2 creatures, ramping does quite well. We also have another rare, a rare and a mythic in this pack. This is the Abandoned Air Temple. This land enters tapped unless you control a basic land. Taps for a white. 4 mana and a tap will get you a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Very, very strong effect that we've seen in years past with things like Gavany Township is a similar effect there. But this one will tap for white mana, as opposed to Gavany Township's colorless. Ooh, we got something nice coming up here. Ooh, whoa. This forest. Absolutely beautiful. Luc Courtois. Great job. We have a Pillar Launch in foil. Boomy Unleashed. We're getting a lot of the legendary creatures that you could have as commanders. 5 mana, 5/4. Trample. When he enters, Earthbend 4. Whenever Boomy deals combat damage to a player, untap all lands you control. After this phase, there's another combat. Only land creatures can attack during that combat. And the full art that we saw. Ooh, Heartbeat of Spring. Very cute. We have 3 mana enchantments. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana of any type that land produced. So an additional 1. Awesome. We also have another Boomy, King of the 3 Trials. Waterbend Rallier, rather. Iguana Parrots. Borcupine. All the creature hybrids. Very fun. Ooh. The Island. Apaland. With the Fire Nation ship underneath. Yep. That's a cool card. Love to see it. Speaking of waterbenders, we have Waterbender Ascension. I love the koi fish in the yin yang, white and black, with the white and black spots. 2 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a quest counter. Oh, we've seen this one. And if it has 4 or more quest counters on it, draw a card. I do like this art a lot better. Katara looks fierce in this, and that moon is crazy. Takeuchi Moto as the artist. Very, very nice. Of course, Team Avatar, Fire Nation Warship, another Katara. Yeah. This is only box 1, but this is already going incredibly well. Loving all these cards. I know if you're interested in any of these cards, of course, like I said, check out the TCG Player, link in the description. Support your local game store. Ran and Shaw. Yeah. Support your local game store, y'all. It's incredible that Jeff is supporting us by letting us create these videos, put them out there for you all to see. And of course, as we have Momo in the sewers here for this swamp. Ooh, an Obsessive Pursuit. We have our first booster fund treatment that's not full art. I don't know exactly what they're calling this frame, but very lovely. With Zuko, a little dragon behind him in, I believe, his room on the warship. Whenever this enchantment enters in the beginning of your upkeep, lose a life, create a clue. Whenever you attack, put X +1/+1 counters on target attacking creature where X is the number of permanents you've sacrificed this turn. If X is 3 or greater, that creature gains lifelink until end of turn. Ooh, for 2 mana? Not too bad. Not the strongest effect in the world, but hey, pretty nice. Looks like we've got ourselves about 4, maybe 5 packs left. Got ourselves the Mountain. No Momo on this one. I know people were talking about that. It's either the Momo lands or the Appa lands, and just no Momo on this. Bit interesting, but very nice art nonetheless. Boiling Rock Rioter. Fire emitting 1. Tap it on tap to ally control. Exile target card from a graveyard. Whenever this creature attacks, you can cast an ally spell from among the cards you own exiled with this creature. Okay. Pretty decent effects. Got ourselves a Toff. Got ourselves a Shrine. I don't know that we've seen a ton of those. We've been skipping through a bit, but I know Shrines are getting their first support in a little while. I think Kamigawa Neon Dynasty is probably the last time that we saw new Shrines printed. I believe there's 1 for each color. They're not the strongest things in the world, but, you know, for your synergies where you're looking for a Shrine deck, definitely take a look at those. Ooh, Northern Air Temple. Nice. Uncle Iroh. Trusty Boomerang. 3 packs to go. In box 1, of course. Of course, we do have a few other play booster boxes to go, as well as 1 collector booster box that we'll be opening for these videos. So make sure to check out the channel, see if those videos are available. If they're not, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button, leaving us a like, a comment. Let us know that you're looking forward to the other videos that are coming out as well. Again, the other videos will be a little bit faster paced than this first one. This is more of a deep dive into some of the mechanics, going over a lot of the cards that we're opening up. Of course, it hasn't been every one of them because it would take forever. But yeah, thanks for chilling with us as we get a Mythic Appa here in our next to last pack of box 1. And if you want to see more, like I said, check and see. We might have those videos out right away. If you're interested in any of these cards, take a look in that description. TCG Player is where all of Jeff Comics single cards are available at. And that's a great box 1. Thank you all for tuning in. And we will be back with more Avatar, The Last Airbender, the new Magic the Gathering set in just a short time. We'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. See you there.